football camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow back on the practice field today for the first time since his right calf strain more than a month ago. Burrow had the best season of his career last year. Dolphins corner Jalen Ramsey goes on IR recovering from meniscus surgery. He'll miss at least the first 4 games. Miami GM Chris Greer says there'll be no contract negotiations with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa or defensive lineman Christian Wilkins until after the season. Will the Jets be weighed down by expectations or by the team's recent lack of success? Head coach Robert Saleh says the players are focusing on other things.
Are you doing everything you can to get better? Are you doing everything you can to go to bed better than when you woke up? And that's it. These guys don't care what happened 20 years ago. They're focused in the moment. Obviously, they acknowledge, but it's not their story. Their story is what's about to be written.
Robert Saleh, ESPN has learned the Patriots will re-sign quarterbacks Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham to the practice squad. Both were cut on Tuesday.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yep.
It's hump day.
John Emery.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Hump day. School ain't for everyone, y'all.
It's hump day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Ryan Kelly on the SEC teleconference today. John Emery out against Florida State.
It's hump day.
We'll talk about LSU's biggest weakness this year.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You already know what it is. But why it might not matter.
It's hump day.
That's in hour 3.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Hashtag tease. All right, Saints have signed players to their practice squad.
It's hump day.
Lost some of their waiver players.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We were supposed to have Russ Mitchell. He bailed.
It's hump day.
We'll pick up with Russ next week.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Sorry. Not my fault.
It's hump day.
Confirmed with him last week.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He bailed today. Fraud.
It's hump day.
Fraud.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's get going here. It is a hump day edition of AFR, and we are glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let us begin today as we do every single day here on AFR.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Brian Kelly on the SEC coaches teleconference. As he was nearing the end, he was asked a question. I believe this was Scott Rabelais with the question. It sounded like this.
You mentioned John Emery. What would you say his status is for the game? unavailable.
And with that, LSU will be without John Emery for the third consecutive season opener. Of course, John Emery missed all of 2021. He missed the opener last year against Florida State due to an academic issue. And now we find out today that John Emery will also be unavailable for the Florida State game this year. Brian Kelly did not give a reason. My understanding is that this is that prolonged academic issue, and this might not be the only game he misses. So we'll have to wait and see what his status might be next week against Grambling. But John Emery will not be available for LSU against Florida State this weekend. There's really two components to this. There's the John Emery piece of it, for him personally, and then there's how his absence might affect LSU against Florida State. So we'll take those one at a time. You remember the first day of fall camp? The most notable thing the first day when the media got to go watch and they were at the indoor facility practicing because it was a bajillion degrees outside was there was no John Emery. And so we got to meet with Brian Kelly after that first practice, and the question was, hey, Coach, where's John Emery? Here's what Brian Kelly said.
He had to finish up an internship today, final. He's in great shape. Thanks for asking the question. He has done everything. He has been fabulous to work with. We're proud of his accomplishments, and he'll be with us tomorrow. But he had to get an internship finished up today.
I don't know that Brian Kelly was being truthful. At this point, it's fair to ask the question whether or not that was honest or not. Don't know. I can certainly appreciate and respect a coach going to bat for his player and giving his player cover. Brian Kelly's not accountable to the media or the fans. He is accountable to the 85 scholarship players, the 120 sets of eyeballs staring at him when they're in a team meeting in that locker room. So I can always appreciate a coach going to bat for his player. What I will say is not everyone is meant to go to college. That is, by the way, not a knock on John Emery at all. School just ain't for everyone. We live in a society where everyone thinks you got to go to college, and a lot of people amass large amounts of student loan debt to get degrees they'll never use. Thankfully for John Emery, he's going to have an opportunity to be a college graduate without having any student loan debt. So it's a great thing for him personally. And I admire the fact that the kid came back to school when he could have gone pro any of the last 2 years, battled through missing the entire 2021 season, could have left, came back last year, and now came back again. So I admire his perseverance, sincerely do. And I am really pulling for him that he makes it to the finish line and gets that piece of paper and gets that degree. But school is hard for a lot of people because the structure of that ain't for everybody. Told a story. Michael Ford. A lot of people ask why Michael Ford went pro after his third year at LSU. Because Michael Ford hated school. It ain't, and that's okay. That's okay. Like, as a society, we have to accept the fact that it's okay that school ain't for everybody. So put that aside. My understanding is John Emery will be available for LSU this season. He won't be against Florida State. We'll see if that extends beyond the Florida State game. But what we know now is he won't be there for Florida State. Here's maybe the good news for LSU. As much as we've talked about having 8 scholarship running backs, and what do you do with 8 scholarship running backs? How do you get all these guys involved when you got 8? Well, thank God you got 8 scholarship running backs. Because even though now you're down John Emery, and Brian Kelly told us earlier this week Armani Goodwin is doubtful for the game, even with those 2 guys out, you still got 6, including Josh Williams, who was your leading rusher among your running backs a year ago, Noah Cain, who led you in rushing among your running backs in the Florida State game a year ago. You've got Trey Bradford back. You've got Logan Diggs, the transfer in from Notre Dame, and then the 2 freshmen, Caleb Jackson, who we saw was magnificent in the scrimmage in Tiger Stadium, and Trey Holly, who's the state's all-time leading rusher in high school. So you got plenty of athletic dudes to choose from that you could turn around and give the ball to and say, go run. Yes, John Emery is a dynamic player. He's got game-breaking potential. We've seen it at times throughout his career. We just haven't seen it consistently. And this should just feel very comfortable and familiar because LSU's had to take the field a lot over the last 4 seasons without John Emery. And they'll have to do it again on Sunday against Florida State. What I will also say specifically about this matchup In this game a year ago, LSU ran 30 times for 139 yards, 139. Now, they also had a 14-yard loss. If you remember, in the first series of the game, Garrett Dellinger snapped the ball over Jayden Daniels' head, and they lost 14 yards. So if you just look at the running plays, okay, sacks not included, or even include the sack yards, just take away that team loss of 14 yards. LSU averaged 5.2 yards per carry against Florida State. Now, Jayden Daniels ran 16 times for 114. He was awesome. Your running backs didn't have such a hot day. Your running backs combined to run 13 times for 39 yards, 3 yards a carry in this game last year. What I will say is you got a better offensive line. Can we all agree LSU's offensive line today is better than they were going in on the Wednesday before the Florida State game a year ago? Can we, that should be a unanimous agreement. Yes, LSU's offensive line better today than they were going into last year. You're settled at center with Charles Turner. You got 2 bookend tackles. You got 2 really veteran, a 3-year starter at left guard in Garrett Dellinger, Miles Frazier, who started for you last year and came in after a freshman All-America season at FIU. And then you've got Lance Hurd behind them and Marlon Martinez. You feel good about your offensive line. Good. You've got 2 tight ends that you really like a lot in, obviously, Mason Taylor. The name we haven't mentioned a lot is Connor Galbraith. He's the JUCO transfer who we saw run with the ones when they went to 12 personnel. Too tight. He wears number 89. He is a blocking tight end. He's going to be on the field as well. I like LSU's ability to run. And I'll remind you this. Florida State last year, their rush defense, and again, I get it last year, but I don't have anything to compare it to. And they returned the same guys from a year ago. And I will grant you, Florida State has added Braden Fisk, the defensive tackle transfer from Western Michigan, LSU went hard after Braden Fisk. They wanted him. LSU needed defensive tackles. They added 4 of them this year. And they tried to get Fisk. He picked Florida State. Good for them. But they needed him. Do you realize Florida State's run defense last year on a team that won 10 games was 75th in the country? They were 75th out of 131 in run defense. Florida State allowed 156 yards per game. They were 12 spots lower than LSU a year ago. The point is, yeah, stinks not having John Emery. You've been in that spot before. You played Florida State to a 1-point game a year ago without John Emery. Your offensive line's better. You're better at tight end. You're deeper and more talented at running back this year than you were last year. I think they're going to be just fine. And you're going against a defense that, while maybe there's this perception of them being a really dominant unit, they weren't. Florida State was not. They were very good against the pass a year ago. Florida State was. Run defense, 75th in the country. So they can get got. There's yards to be had. You got a dynamic runner at quarterback, and then all these athletes running the football, and that's not even to count Aaron Anderson, who I think will factor into the running game for LSU on Sunday night as well. Yes, it's unfortunate for John Emery. Would love to see him go out and have just a monster 5th season in Baton Rouge. But it's familiar for LSU because they haven't had him now for 3 straight openers, and I think LSU is going to be just fine on the ground against Florida State on Sunday. All right, it's After Further Review. Show open every day. Brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Bud Light, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Bud Light, the official beer of the Southern Jaguars. We appreciate our friends over at Mockler Beverage. Great community partners, have been so invested in our community for almost 40 years now. Remember, football season is upon us. You're going to be celebrating with friends, tailgating, wherever you're going to be. Drink easy in Death Valley. Drink easy in the Dome. Drink easy at A.W. Munford Stadium or wherever you're watching the game with Bud Light. Again, the official beer of AFR. Okay, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll come back. The Saints we've started to get reports of players that have been added to the Saints practice squad. Teams cut down their roster yesterday down to 53, and now, as you'd expect, there's some movement with guys being signed to the practice squad. Players are now eligible also to be put on IR. So remember, you go to IR, you miss at least 4 games, but that frees up a spot on the 53, so teams can then replace those players on the 53-man roster. We'll fill in some of those blanks when we come back. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to social media at Get Gordon. Gordon, his latest Grubbin' with G is with All-American Harold Perkins. So you want to see an exclusive one-on-one interview? Gordon, Harold Perkins, sitting down, having lunch, having a conversation. Check it out on any of the social media at @GetGordons. That's Twitter, that's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's TikTok. Same handle, all the social media channels, @GetGordon. You'd see the one-on-one interview with Gordon and Harold Perkins as they sit down and have a chat. Hey, remember, tomorrow is the last day. Tomorrow is the last day. Go to getgordonbillboards.com. Getgordonbillboards.com. You can design Gordon's next billboard and win one of $2,000 worth of prizes, courtesy of Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Again, go to getgordonbillboards.com to upload your art and to win. Get Gordon. Get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Water.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and back. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Step inside an Infiniti QX50, and you'll find a suite of driver-focused features tailored to your tastes.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
One thing I want to remind you of that probably haven't done enough is we will have every press conference for LSU coaches and players all throughout the year on our YouTube channel. So, of course, where we stream live every single day, you can watch us on YouTube, on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, but also every press conference with Brian Kelly, players, media availability, we're recording that video and uploading it there. So if you ever want to watch those press conferences in full, you can always do it at our Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. So please subscribe up. And if you're watching there live, thank you so much. Please smash that like button. Of course, we appreciate everybody, no matter how you're listening, watching on WBTR. If you're listening in New Orleans, Alexandria, Lafayette, Lake Charles, or here in Baton Rouge, we appreciate you so much for being here every single day. It's after further review. We will next hour we'll get to an updated big board from Mel Kiper, his first of this year. And I want to circle back in hour 3 because I want to take some time to get to this. But everybody knows LSU's secondary is the biggest on-paper weakness of this team going into this year. But I really want to dig deep into that because I spent a lot of time today digging, really excavating in that. And why I think it may not be that big of a deal. Just bear with me. I'm going to get to that to start hour 3. So you have to leave, come back. It'll be right as we start hour 3. I'm going to delve into that. So Tuesday was NFL cut day. Of course, every NFL team had to get their rosters down to 53, which the Saints did. There were some notable cuts. Jalen Smith among them. Bradley Roby was a notable one, to be sure. Trading Will Lutz and making the decision to go with Blake Grupe, I thought was obviously maybe the headliner there. Both specialists for the New Orleans Saints were gone. I thought I was looking at this video at the New Orleans.football Twitter account. It's at NOF Network if you want to check it out. But it's Nick, it's Brooke, and Mike Triplett. Mike will be with us tomorrow. But they explained why financially the Will Lutz and Bradley Roby situations went down the way they did. It's a quick explanation, but give a listen to this. I need you to take this, if you would, from my screen. This is Mike explaining the financials of that situation. All right, let me see if I can get it queued up. I'm not sure what's going on there. My apologies. Hang on. All right, let's try this again. My apologies. All right, here was Brooke and Mike talking about those contract situations.
Bradley Roby move with the Will Lutz move. Financially, it helps the Saints against the cap. We're going to get into that in our money segment presented by Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union. You've got the number breakdown. I'm just going to let you take it.
Yeah. Now, look, I said the kicker, just under $1 million. Lutz was going to make $1.7 million this year. Grupe makes $750K. Lutz also had up to like $950,000 in possible incentives that he could have hit. Let's say they saved $1.5 million. Not bad. We're talking about this team's salary cap all the time. I don't think that's the only reason to make a move like that. It's good in $3.5 million in some incentives he really could have reached. If he was the full-time nickel playing 85% of the snaps, this team made the playoffs, he could have made $5.5 million this year. Now they go down to someone like Ugo Amadi or Isaac Yadam. Let's say that's the replacement player that's making $1.1 million. They might have saved $4 million with that move. Again, pay the $4 million if he's your best player. But if he was going to be their fourth corner, then there you go. There's like $5 million the Saints are going to have to work with on next year's cap after these two moves. That's a bonus element of it.
Yeah, I think Mike explained it well there. When you think about $4 or $5 million doesn't seem like a grand amount when you're talking about a salary cap north of $200 million. When the Saints seemingly every year are fighting that dead cap number, and you got to get under. If you have a coin flip between two players, maybe that is the tiebreaker. And that's sort of what Bradley Roby alluded to in his tweet when he talked about getting cut. The updates on the practice squad, as a reminder, you can sign 16 players to your practice squad. And you can sign veterans to the practice squad, which is a relatively new thing in the NFL. Players that are on the practice squad, Jonathan Abram, safety, Shaq Davis, cleared waivers, so he signed to the Saints practice squad. Jack Heflin, the defensive tackle who played in the XFL this past season. Anthony Johnson, the cornerback who had a really nice training camp. Jontre Kirkland signed to the Saints practice squad. Jontre proved he could affect the game in a lot of different ways, from his ability as a receiver and as a special teams ace. Glad to see Jontre Kirkland get that opportunity. They signed Jordan Mims, who's a running back who had been with the Buffalo Bills. So keep in mind, we say this all the time, it's the initial 53, not the final 53, because you're always going to add guys. Now, this is a practice squad player, but this is a guy who the Bills cut, cleared waivers, and the Saints added him to their practice squad. Anthony Orji, the linebacker out of Vanderbilt, the undrafted rookie free agent, who, again, had a really nice preseason. He clears waivers. The Saints add him. Kyle Phillips, the defensive end who battled an injury. The Saints have him on their practice squad. Jaylen Smith was signed back to the practice squad, as was Ty Summers, the linebacker and special teams contributor. Jaylen Smith is the one that probably turned the most heads or raised the most opened the most eyeballs a day ago when he was cut. And the way we kind of explained it was that it was very likely he was going to be back. As a matter of fact, when Dennis Allen met with the media after practice on Tuesday, he was asked point blank about Jaylen Smith.
Is there a chance Jaylen Smith could be back at some point?
I would say there's a chance, yeah, absolutely.
So that was Dennis Allen saying, yeah, you might see Jaylen Smith back, and now he is. Jaylen Smith has been re-signed by the Saints to the practice squad. And if you weren't here on Tuesday, we had Scott Shanley on the show, and this was a particularly interesting perspective because Scott's a guy that, of course, played linebacker in the NFL, but has played for the Saints for a decade, but has also covered the Saints now as a game day analyst, formerly on CST, now on Your View, and comes on the show a lot. And Scott's perspective is great, but he's also one of those guys that every single year, I remember Mike Detillier over and over again using this analogy. Like every year, the Saints would bring in linebackers to try to beat out Scott Shanley, and every year he'd throw him out the boat. It's Scott every year beat out guys that they were bringing in to take his job. And he ended up playing a long time in New Orleans, of course, was a Super Bowl champion and a consistent starter and a really good linebacker. But when I and many of you were sort of confused by the Jaylen Smith decision to cut him, when it looked very clear that he was the third best linebacker on this team, Scott Shanley here on Tuesday took a little bit of a different approach on Jaylen Smith.
I also am a little bit surprised at how many people thought he would make the roster, because this is a guy, he has attributes that he could play in the NFL, but also at the same time, the Dallas Cowboys gave him a big deal. They ate a chunk of money and said, you can't perform at a level that we'd want to keep you around. The Packers kept him for a cup of coffee. The Giants had him last year. I think if you really look at Jaylen's game, he's very limited in playing all three downs. And I think that's why he struggles to stay on teams. Whether it's from the injury he sustained at Notre Dame, he just can't play in open field and in space the way a lot of teams want. And this game has gone down to a two-linebacker system. And I don't think he's that type of linebacker. He could maybe be your third backer and play over a tight end, but that's probably all you're going to get out of him at this point in his career.
It's an interesting perspective from Scott Shanley. And if that's all you are, is a one or two down linebacker, then in order to impact the game, you got to be able to play special teams as well, which might make a guy like Anthony Orji, a younger guy, more valuable. A lot of those young, Ty Summers, some of those young linebackers that we've been talking about who are younger, less expensive, can be a one or two down linebacker and can play special teams. So maybe we have oversold Jaylen Smith just a little bit based on the name and what he was at one point. But Jaylen Smith, I thought, played well in the preseason. But as I think Scott Shanley well knows and many of us know, preseason speed is dramatically different than regular season speed. And Saints are heading toward their regular season opener a week from Sunday. The other, of course, gigantic news was trading Will Lutz. Blake Grupe met with the media. And listen, the kid, if nothing else, is very clearly confident, as he showed in every opportunity he got this preseason.
It's what I came here to do. It's why I came here. And, if you get caught up in, everything else, then you're not worried about your job. So, the job, I wake up tomorrow and I feel the exact same that I've felt in the last month. So just take every single day and just go out and do it.
Blake Grupe has won the Saints kicking job. Taken over for Will Lutz, who's traded to the Denver Broncos. So as more decisions come down, we'll let you know. Maybe the most significant decision of a player that the Saints released who has been signed with another team is Calvin Throckmorton. Throckmorton started 20 games for New Orleans the past several years. And when we've seen injuries on the interior to Andres Pete and Cesar Ruiz, we've seen Throckmorton play. Or when Ruiz moved in for McCoy at center, Throckmorton went in at guard. That's a guy that's played a lot. Well, the Carolina Panthers picked up Calvin Throckmorton. And so he stays in the division, but is now in Carolina. And the other news is that Lucas Krull is now in Denver. So Sean Payton, of course, brought Lucas Krull. Actually, he didn't. That was last year. So Lucas Krull is a guy who was at Pitt, was brought in last year with Dennis Allen as an undrafted rookie free agent. He's now in Denver with Sean Payton's guy who was a fantastic tight end, led tight ends and receptions and receiving yards during the 3 preseason games. So Lucas Krull is now a member of the Denver Broncos. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Come back. We'll go around the SEC. We're brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of us here on AFR. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Y'all, college football starts tomorrow, Thursday. College football. You got Florida, Utah. You got a great slate of games. You got Nebraska against Minnesota. Looking forward to college football. If you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Make a $5 college football bet, and instantly they'll give you $200 in bonus bets. Again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. New customers, use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 bet on college football. A moneyline bet, point spread, futures bet, Heisman, national championship playoff, whatever. Make that $5 college football bet with the code Baton Rouge. They'll give you $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football. Terms. Licensed partner Golden Nugget Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, it's after further review. Taylor Calandro in 15 minutes. We'll do a little Bourbon Dictionary. So if you got your booze questions, get them in. Season opener is coming up this weekend. You're going to be having a party. You want to know what to serve, some cocktail recommendations, or whatever it may be. Get your booze questions in for Taylor. We'll do Bourbon Dictionary in 15 minutes from right now. It is after further review, presented by Pluckers. We'll continue next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them, agent225.com, agent225.com. You can always get to the website, agent225.com. You can see all the homes listed by Darren and his team right there. You can even get a free property report. You want to know what your home is worth? Go to agent225.com. Right there in the middle of the homepage, you'll see your free home valuation with all the local analytics mixed in. It's at agent225.com. That's agent225.com. Tell you all the time. Doesn't matter if your home's a $100 million home, $100,000 home. Darren has a way of making you feel like you are his only client. Darren gets results. The Wall Street Journal has listed the top 1,000 realtors in America this year. Darren was number 54 on the list. 54 in the country. Why would you hire anyone other than the realtor that sells more homes than anyone? Call Darren James, 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The world's leaders are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there in the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Deion Sanders was meeting with reporters before his Power 5 coaching debut. Colorado heads to TCU, which, of course, no Max Duggan, no Kendre Miller. They lost a lot there in Fort Worth, coming off a team that played for a national championship and got drubbed by Georgia. But it's a high-profile opener. Deion and Colorado head to Fort Worth to take on TCU this weekend, and TCU is a 3-touchdown favorite anyway. Deion was meeting with the media, and a reporter brought up that the Florida State-Miami rivalry and pointed out Deion was a Seminole. Well, give a listen.
Hurricanes like myself,
Yeah.
and you're a Knoll, my friend.
No. Actually, do you know where I graduated from? Yeah. Who said that? You know everything. She didn't know that. They didn't know that. Tell them again, where did I graduate? I graduated from HBCU. So I'm a who?
Well, you're still a Knoll.
I'm a who? I thought it's where you graduate from, isn't it? Well, how you keep calling me that? It goes to where I graduated from. I'm a HBCU grad.
I wonder if Deion was joking there. I don't know. It sounded like one of those things where you're serious, but you try to make it sound like you're joking, but you're not joking. You're serious. And you want people to think you're serious or have a little lingering doubt that you might be serious, but you make it come across as a joke. Remember, Deion did have 2 things. Number 1, Eddie Robinson Jr. called Deion a fraud. Remember when he left saying, I told you he wasn't HBCU. Called out his credibility when Deion left for Colorado. It's 1. 2, Deion in Florida State had a little riff or a little tiff when he was recruiting Hunter, and got him Travis Hunter, who was thought to be a Florida State was committed to Florida State at one point and flipped to Jackson State. Deion got him away from his alma mater, and Florida State people were not happy about that. Part of me thinks this is 2 parts. Deion pissed at Florida State and also trying to have an opportunity to pound his chest at Eddie Robinson Jr. and say, who ain't swag now, bruh? I kind of feel like that's where Deion's coming from with that. The other part of that, too. By the way, so Deion did graduate from Talladega College. He did not graduate from Florida State. He was 2-time consensus All-American, won the Thorpe Award at Florida State. Florida State retired his jersey. He has his number 2 retired at Florida State. That's one of those where you wonder if there aren't some exposed nerve endings a little bit. But you know what I really thought about? If it is where you graduated from, is Deion saying that Ohio State gets claim Burrow? Hope not. Not down with that, Deion.
The obvious counter to that is he also has an LSU degree, though, Joe Burrow.
Said it could be both. I ain't down with that. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. Yeah, screw Ohio State, by the way. You don't get to claim Joe Burrow, you losers. He's ours forever. We're building him a statue, not you. You're the ones who kicked him to the curb, you dorks. Way to go, idiot. Ohio State. You're not an idiot if you go to South Point Volkswagen and buy a Volkswagen from Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Airline just north of Highlander, southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. You do the inventory search right there on the homepage. Search by year, make, model, body style, price. It's all there for you. And if you're trying to search for certified pre-owned vehicles, of course, you got a great selection, the best selection of all the newest Volkswagens. But if you're in the market for a pre-owned vehicle, a lot of people like to buy pre-owned. Remember, South Point moves more inventory than anybody, so they have tons of trade-ins, all different makes and models. So check it out. You can go to the used vehicle tabs right there at the top of the homepage, and you'll see their entire inventory. Yep, they got Volkswagens for sure, and they're certified pre-owned, but it's all different makes and models. It's at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, Taylor Calandro coming up in less than 10 minutes from right now for a little Bourbon Dictionary right now. Let's do it. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
Starting center Kingsley Eguakun still listed as questionable for the Gators opener against Utah. That is tomorrow in Salt Lake City. The starting center suffered an ankle injury August 16th, has not practiced fully since. Sophomore Jake Slaughter and true freshman Najee Harris have received first and second team reps at the position. Eguakun is the only full-time starter from Florida's offensive line a year ago who returned for 2023. And yes, there is a Jake Slaughter joke in there about him playing on the offensive line after he's gained some weight.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Offensive linemen Brady Latham and Amari and Harris are back in green no-contact jerseys for Tuesday's outdoor practice in Arkansas. They missed about a week each. Also, safety Malik Chavis out of action for the first time on Tuesday. He's questionable for Saturday's game against Western Carolina. By the way, Western Carolina for that game against Arkansas, they'll be without defensive lineman Micah Nelson. He started 22 games, but tore his ACL, and he is out for the year.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And this is a really cool thing. Tennessee basketball and Michigan State are going to play a charity exhibition instead of a closed-door scrimmage prior to this season. Of course, they're going to play the charity exhibition in East Lansing with all of the proceeds donated to the Hawaii Community Foundation Maui Strong Fund, providing financial resources to the relief efforts from the Maui wildfires. Of course, both of these teams, and especially Michigan State, has participated in the Maui Invitational for many years, so a way to give back to Lahaina. Tennessee played an exhibition for charity against Gonzaga prior to last season. Vols are 2-5 against Michigan State in the regular season meetings and have lost 3 straight. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com. For Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the ULL Raging Cajuns, and the Baton Rouge Zydeco, the new minor league hockey team. Gulf Coast Office Products, they always step up for the local teams. Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. for Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1. Our buddy Taylor Calandro will be here. We'll do a little Bourbon Dictionary, so get your booze questions in. You can email us. You can tweet or tweet us.
Hey, Twitter. Not Twitter. Hey, X world.
Get your questions there, or you can text your questions for Taylor in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Bourbon Dictionary next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, title sponsor of our Hump Day shows all throughout the year. Of course, Tuesday or any night of the week is a great night to get by Pluckers. But tonight, Wednesday, trivia night. 5 rounds, live action trivia, Bluebonnet and Nicholson, both locations, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. Remember, every team that comes and participates gets to spin the prize wheel, so every team's going to win something. Maybe it's Pluckers gift cards, Amazon gift cards, prizes from other great retailers around the area. That's every Wednesday at Pluckers. Oh, look, football season's almost upon us. Remember, the place to watch every single football game all year long is Pluckers. This past Saturday, I couldn't watch USC against San Jose State because I didn't have the Pac-12 network. Don't do like I did. Go to Pluckers, either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery with award-winning jumbo chicken wings. It's Pluckers. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
When is
is a taco more than just a taco when it's Government Taco? Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. We're glad you're with us here. Coming up after the top of the hour, Mel Kiper's updated his or released his first big board for this coming draft. Some interesting tidbits and a parallel to an all-time great LSU team. I want to get to. We'll get to that coming up after the top of the hour. All right, Taylor Calandro's with us. Let's get your booze questions in. How are you, dude?
Good. What's up, Matt?
Another day, man, inching closer to the opener. Is even though it's still like a bajillion degrees outside, are we starting to see any movement in whiskey season? Any of the allocated stuff starting to hit shelves yet?
Yeah, it's starting to pick up. Speaking of, we have some Basil Hayden 10 on the shelf and Knob Creek 12. Those are both allocated.
Okay.
And we have Basil Hayden 10 in a while. So, but yes. So to answer your question, yes, we are starting to see more allocated stuff.
Hey, how Basil Hayden 10? I know when people always ask, hey, if they're just starting to get into whiskey, what's something to try? You always recommend Basil Hayden because it's really approachable and it's what, $30, $35, something like that. How long has Basil Hayden released Basil Hayden 10? I mean, I know they did that dark rye. I don't know if they still do it. That's terrible.
It's been 2 or 3 years. It's not part of that series. Not part of the experimental series. This is just independent release, like an release that they've been doing around this time. It's been a couple years they've done it.
What about and then you said Knob Creek 12? Y'all have it shelved as well, you said?
Yep, both of them are on the shelf.
Okay. Really cool. That's awesome.
Yep.
What else is new?
Not much else this week. I think we're supposed to be getting a barrel in the next week or two. I'm not sure, but I don't want to say what it is either. So
why not?
I just don't. Because I'm not sure if it's coming in the next week or two. This barrel thing's been weird logistically. So
is it Four Roses?
I don't want to say. Yeah.
Is it Four Roses?
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would be one that you wouldn't want to spill the beans.
No, it's nothing crazy like that. I just don't. I've said things before, and they've not come to fruition because of logistics. So I'm waiting a week or so. We'll see.
Eagle Rare?
No, absolutely not. No.
Blanton's?
No. But all Blanton's is single barrel.
Would you tell me if I got it right? But it could still be your store pick.
Huh?
I know all Blanton's is single barrel, but it could still be your store's pick.
Oh, I know, but I was just saying.
Okay.
Single barrel. No, absolutely not. No, I wish. That'd be great.
All right.
Insta sales.
Fire away with questions for Taylor. Again, email us. You can tweet or X us your question.
Hey, Twitter. Not Twitter. Hey, X.
That's at Matt Moscona. You can text your question, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Joe Simon said, hey, Taylor, Oak and Eden Bourbon Inspire barrel proof. Thoughts?
So Oak and Eden is the one that puts the spire into the bottle. So depending on how it's finished, it's got that spire in it. And he which one did he say?
Barrel proof?
It's good. I mean, I've had a lot of different finish stuff. I don't know if I've ever had the straight up barrel proof, but I've had a ton of different. We've done an Amburana barrel. We still have some of that. That's the one that tastes like straight cinnamon. Have you tried that barrel? It's weird.
No, I don't think I have.
You need to try it next time you come by. It's like drinking cinnamon Red Hot. It's weird.
Good. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It's good though. It's not like Fireball. Like Amburana produces a weird flavor. Anyway, sorry, I went on an Amburana.
Wait, so what is that, by the way?
Amburana is I believe it's a Brazilian type of wood. It just produces like this really cinnamony flavor. It's becoming a lot more popular.
Yeah, no, but to your point, like there's a difference between whiskey that has sort of cinnamon flavors like Big Red or Cinnaburst and cinnamon flavored, like when you artificially flavor whiskey to taste like cinnamon. I think that's what you're saying. Is there's a difference.
Right. The flavor that this particular wood finish is called Amburana. The flavor, the predominant flavor, is like very, very, very cinnamon.
Let's see. Ashley Davis had asked Taylor, rye versus sour mash. Why one over the other?
That's personal preference. I love both. Those are, sour mash is fantastic. I've had some really good sour mash over the years. It just depends on what you're in the mood for. I like both a lot.
Hunter said, ask Taylor, when are you going to do an Old Elk weeded barrel pick again?
We should be looking at doing an Old Elk barrel here pretty soon, but I think we have some weeded, some of our old weeded barrel left on the shelf right now currently.
Eric Gautreaux asked Taylor, best scotch to use in a rusty nail.
Get I can't remember what it's called. It's the Intro Glenmorangie. It's like $30, and it's a great little mixing scotch.
What's a rusty nail?
I have no idea.
Is that a scotch cocktail?
It's a scotch cocktail of some sort. I'm not big on cocktails.
Greg Lehman asked Taylor, since LSU is Florida bound for its season opener, what's your favorite rum cocktail? Oh, that's right up your alley.
I like to make a rum old fashioned. Just your basic old fashioned recipe with your favorite dark rum. I actually prefer that over a regular old fashioned with whiskey.
So, but I do a rye old fashioned, which correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the original intent of the cocktail is supposed to be made with rye whiskey, correct?
Yeah, and way back then, rye whiskey used to be looked down upon, so I guess that's why they mixed it. I don't know.
Ew.
Yeah, but I prefer my old fashions with rye too.
Okay. Brad Lang asked Taylor thoughts on Starlight Distillery, and is it available in Louisiana?
Starlight Distillery. I'm trying to think who those guys are. I think I know who he's talking about. No, I don't think it is, but I think I know who he's talking about.
We got about a minute. I think you said last week that you were starting to see some of the Oktoberfest beers start to pop up. Are we still starting to see a lot of those?
Yeah, we got one. We got Gnarly Barley, St. Arnold, a few different German ones, which I really like the German ones, just the old school German. I mean, they've been doing it for hundreds of years. So, but yeah, we've over the last couple of weeks, we've gotten a bunch of Oktoberfest in.
At your core, you're a beer guy, which look, if you go into Calandro's, go to the back wall, you see like absurd amounts of different beers that you could pick from. Is there a brand of Oktoberfest that you like, that you prefer?
I mean, I really like Warsteiner's best beer. I mean, it's good. It's just one of the old German styles. It's very appropriate for what the style should be, in my opinion.
What's it called again? Warsteiner?
Warsteiner, yeah.
How do you spell that?
Warsteiner, I believe.
All right, Warsteiner. There it is. All right. There is a spelling test at the end of the show, by the way. He is Taylor Calandro from Calandro's. We call it Bourbon Dictionary. We do it every Wednesday on a Whiskey Wednesday. Get all your booze questions. All right, dude. We appreciate it as always, man. We'll talk next week.
All right, Matt. Good talking.
All right, man. Be well. Oh, I should have got his game prediction there on LSU Florida State. We'll have to do that with all of our guests the rest of the week. No Russ Mitchell today. We're supposed to have him. Talked with Russ earlier. Something came up, so we'll visit with Russ next Wednesday. My apologies for that. All right, hour number 2 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Man, we're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. I highly recommend, as I do every day, that if you're in any of the different industries that they service, if it's aerospace or aggregates, agriculture, the petrochem industry, energy, food and beverage, manufacturing, you get waste and recycling, go to the website and hit the services tab, and you'll see everything that they do. Yes, they are ISO 17025 accredited. You can ship your equipment to them. If you need calibration, if it's preventative maintenance, weighing systems, your inspection, certificates, installation, equipment repair, they do it all. And at Michelli, with more than 30 service areas across 11 different states and a fleet of heavy-duty test trucks where they can come to you, they got 24/7 call-out service available, experienced scale service technician team, highly skilled product specialist team. There's so much that sets Michelli apart. Learn more about what they do every single day at Michelli.com. Michelli.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A reserve West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's deputy who shot into the back of a fleeing car is facing charges tonight. A warrant issued for his arrest following a WBRZ report. The WBRZ investigative unit showed you the alarming video this month that shows that deputy opening fire on a car they stopped while patrolling the interstate. That deputy facing 2 felony charges. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. all of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of Front to Back Boat Service.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow practiced today for the first time in 5 weeks. He's been out with a strained right calf. ESPN's Stephen Holder reports both the Packers and the Dolphins tried to work a trade with the Colts for running back Jonathan Taylor. Our Adam Schefter says a trade could still happen.
The next window to trade him will be before the NFL's cut down day or the trade deadline on Halloween, October 31st. That's the next window to trade him. If the Colts can't get a trade worked out by then, the next window would be in the offseason.
Adam Schefter on NFL Live. ESPN's Pete Thamel reports Utah quarterback Cam Rising is not expected to play tomorrow night's opener against Florida. Rising is recovering from a torn ACL in the Rose Bowl. LSU running back John Emery will miss the season opener against Florida State in Orlando Sunday. No reason given by head coach Brian Kelly. Second-round winners today at the U.S. Open include Novak Djokovic and Iga Swiatek. Live coverage continuing right now on ESPN and ESPN+.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Jayden Daniels met with reporters yesterday. First time in fall camp since fall camp began that we had a chance to meet with Jayden Daniels. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes from right now. By the way, Jayden Daniels, one of the 4 team captains. LSU announced this. The 4 team captains, as voted on by the team, are quarterback Jayden Daniels, left tackle Will Campbell, defensive tackle Mekhi Wingo, and safety Greg Brooks. What's really interesting to me about this is it shouldn't come as a surprise with Wingo wearing the 18 jersey and Will Campbell wearing the 7 that those two would be voted. But I think what's really interesting about it is Wingo in particular, y'all, is a really understated guy. Mekhi's been on the show. Not only when he transferred here from Missouri, we had him on the show. Talked to Mekhi plenty of times. Visited with him at SEC Media Days. He's just not a real outspoken guy. So it's interesting that he's been chosen for the 18 jersey and as a team captain, despite not being very vocal, which, by the way, that's in no way a criticism. That's more to say actions speak louder than words. How loud do your actions speak if you're Mekhi Wingo when you don't talk much? You've really only been physically here for a year and a half, and you've got the 18 jersey and you're a team captain. So salute to those guys. Greg Brooks is one of the players that met with reporters on Tuesday night after practice. And Greg Brooks talked about what it meant being named one of the 4 team captains.
It's an honor to be named the team captain, voted by the team. And, it's a tradition here at LSU, and I'm glad to be a part of that. It's something huge, especially me being from the state of Louisiana, just having that opportunity to be called the team captain is very, very honorable.
Now, Will Campbell wasn't asked about being a team captain, but he was asked about the honor of wearing the number 7 jersey. Here's what he said.
I found out probably like 10 minutes before you all did. I mean, he told us in front of the team, and that was the first time that we had heard anything about it. And, I was just as shocked as anybody just because, being the first lineman to get number 7 is just a huge honor. And I couldn't be more thankful that, I was chosen to do that, and I just got to represent it in the right way.
There is a cool picture from practice the other day where Will Campbell, where the 4 team captains are there with Brian Kelly. This should have been after practice on Tuesday, whenever he named the team captains. And it's the first shot we have of Will Campbell wearing the number 7 jersey. So if you haven't seen it yet, so he'll have to wear 66 in the game, and he'll have a 7 patch. But presumably at practice, he can wear whatever he wants at practice. I mean, the NFL and training camp, Kayshon Boutte was wearing number 58 for the Patriots during practice. It don't matter. But so Will Campbell's wearing number 7 at practice. So there's a picture. If you go to the LSU football Twitter or the social media, you'll see the photo of Brian Kelly with the 4 team captains, and Will Campbell's there in the number 7. So if you want to take a gander at it, it's a big dude wearing a single digit, man. It looks pretty cool. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Our Tuesday shows, love telling you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. I want to get to this Mel Kiper big board here in just a quick second, but got to remind you about Relief Windows. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. They do it all, and now Relief Windows does indoor shutters as well. So highly recommend, get to the website, ReliefWindows.com. Right there at the top of the homepage, you'll see the Shutters tab. So select the Shutters tab, and when you do, you'll see all the info right there. You can see pictures of their beautiful shutters. You can scroll down and get all of the info as well about the interior shutters, about how they won't paint or yellow or chip or crack or peel, how they'll make your home more energy efficient. They are fire retardant as well, so it'll make your home safer. Learn more if you've been thinking about those shutters, your interior shutters. Relief Windows can help you there as well. It's Relief Windows. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Mel Kiper has put out his first big board. And if you're not familiar, the big board is not a mock draft. The billboard is just a ranking of the best prospects in this upcoming draft class. Probably not a giant surprise here that it's a big old tankathon right now, most notably with Tampa Bay and with Arizona for the number 1 overall pick, because they're likely going to try to select the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Caleb Williams, who Mel Kiper does have as the number 1 overall prospect in this upcoming draft. He's got Marvin Harrison Jr., number 2, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. The offensive tackle out of Penn State, Olumuyiwa Fashanu. I'll get it eventually throughout the course of the season, but that's an offensive tackle from Penn State. Drake May 4, Brock Bowers, number 5, Jared Verse, 6. LSU will see him on Sunday night, the rush end, who likely would have been a top 10 pick or certainly a first-round pick this past year. Joe Alt from Notre Dame, that's another Brian Kelly offensive line recruit who's projected to be a top 10 pick. Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, 8. Chop Robinson, outside linebacker from Penn State, and a great name. J.C. Latham from Alabama, the offensive tackle, number 10. Then Caleb King, the cornerback from Penn State, 11, and Dallas Turner there at 12. I went to 12 because I wanted to point out Dallas Turner there as well. A couple of the takeaways looking at this big board. If you're curious, there is one LSU Tiger on the billboard. It might not be the one you think. I think most people assume that would be Mason Smith. It is not. Number 17 on the big board, according to Mel Kiper, is wide receiver Malik Neighbors, a 6-foot, 200-pounder. Kiper says Neighbors' best trait, speed. He could take the top off a defense. He was consistent last season, showing off elite separation skills and the ability to high-point receptions. He also was balanced, catching 35 passes when he lined up in the slot, 37 when he lined up out wide. That versatility will matter at the next level, he went on. So Malik Neighbors, he has him listed as the 17th best prospect in this upcoming draft. So a couple of things, though, from Kiper's big board that I just wanted to point out. One, Jared Verse at 6 and Keon Coleman at 14, 2 Florida State players that you're going to see this coming weekend. Verse against Will Campbell is going to be just, man, that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I was texting earlier today with let me read this text to you. this is a former SEC quarterback who I was texting with. I'm not going to name this person because this person didn't send me this, but with that in mind, it was just an observation of watching film of Will Campbell. This person said, watching some film on Will Campbell, he said, I think he's the best pure pass blocker that has stepped foot on that campus, meaning LSU. It's really amazing to watch him. That's someone who, by the way, whose opinion I very much respect. Saying that Will Campbell, who's about to start the first game of his second year, it's a true sophomore on LSU's campus, saying he's the best pure pass blocker on LSU's campus. So now you start to think about Will Campbell against Jared Verse, who Mel Kiper has as the 6th best prospect in this draft. And Will Campbell, who will be a top 10 prospect in next year's draft. That's pretty incredible that we're going to get to see that in the season opener. By the way, Will Campbell, when he met with reporters, did talk about that Florida State front seven and the challenge they're going to have.
They're a veteran group. You know, they're old. They got a lot of 6 years, redshirt seniors. And, you know, they do what they're supposed to, and they've been in that system, so they know exactly what they're doing. So I feel like that could give people problems.
Keon Coleman is another interesting one on this, as I mentioned. Verse at 6. Keon Coleman is the Florida State wide receiver, transferred in from Michigan State. Remember, Keon Coleman, this is an interesting story. He's from Opelousas. And he didn't get a sniff at LSU. Remember, that was the year when LSU signed Brian Thomas and Chris Hilton, and remember they had Deion Smith in that class, who was the number 1 player in the state of Mississippi, a 5-star receiver who came here and it didn't work out. They had Jack Besh in that class as well. I mean, LSU, I was doing an interview with Chuck Oliver earlier today on his show, and Chuck asked about Keon Coleman, and I said, because, I mean, Keon Coleman went to Michigan State and now was at Florida State, and neither time did he pick LSU. And I said, I mean, Chuck, this happens in Louisiana often. This is a talent-rich state. Louisiana produces an abundance of skill guys. We don't produce a ton of quarterbacks and offensive tackles, generally. Now, there's been a nice run where you've had Arch Manning and Walker Howard and Eli Holstein, Ricky Collins. Like, you've had really good quarterbacks in this state this past several years, and hopefully that run continues. And, of course, you got Emory Jones and Lance Hurd and Will Campbell. But typically you get one of those guys a decade. It's like Cam Robinson or Lyle Collins, Andrew Whitworth. You know what I mean? The state doesn't produce many of them. A ton of defensive linemen, a ton of cornerbacks, receivers, running backs. So my point with that is, I mean, Keon Coleman was a 4-star, but LSU didn't recruit him because they had a ton of receivers. And then he's in the transfer portal this past year, and look at LSU's, I mean, where do you fit in? When you've got Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas and Chris Hilton and Kyron Lacey, and you bring in Aaron Anderson, and then Shelton Sampson comes in, and Jaylen Brown, like, it's not like, hey, here's a ready-made plug-and-play opportunity for you at LSU. So it's interesting to see a kid from Opelousas go Michigan State, Florida State, and never end up at LSU. But if anything, I'd say that's more of a hat tip to the depth that the state of Louisiana has every single year. Aside from the 1 to 25, the big board, Kiper also does his position rankings for every position. And there's a couple things that stood out here. Number one, when he ranked the quarterbacks, here was his quarterback rankings. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Riley Leonard from Duke, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and Quinn Ewers. He ranked 6 quarterbacks. None of them was Jayden Daniels. So, and by the way, I'm not saying that Jayden should necessarily be there. I mean, Jayden didn't like his draft grade this past year, which is in part why he came back, to see if he can elevate his draft status and, be a higher draft pick this year. So he's got room to grow. I'm curious what type of season Jayden would need to run up that board. Like, if you asked me, would you take Jayden Daniels or Bo Nix today? I would take Jayden Daniels. Mel Kiper's got Bo Nix as the 4th best quarterback in this draft. So there's room. But by the way, I mean, Quinn Ewers, I think there's room for him to jump from 6 where he is now. I think Caleb Williams, Drake May, 1, 2, in whatever order you like them, makes the most sense. Everything after that feels pretty wide open. So really big opportunity for Jayden. The only 2 players that were ranked in their positions by Mel Kiper were Malik Neighbors at receiver. Malik Neighbors was ranked the 3rd best receiver behind Marvin Harrison Jr. and Keon Coleman. So Harrison Jr., Keon Coleman, Malik Neighbors, ahead of Emeka Ibuka, by the way, ahead of Roma Dunze from Washington, ahead of Xavier Worthy from Texas. So Mel Kiper likes Malik Neighbors an awful lot. The only other player that was ranked at his position, as you might imagine, was Mason Smith. And Mel Kiper maybe not as high on Mason Smith. Didn't have him on his big board, and has Mason Smith only as the 4th best defensive tackle as of now. And part of that's probably you got to go prove it. I mean, if you're Mason Smith, you played, 9 games, 10 games as a freshman, and then played 6 snaps a year ago. He's got to go put out good film. If he could do that and stay healthy, I think he'll run up some of those boards. But I was looking at this, and for an LSU team that has such expectation, it struck me as odd that there weren't more players on that big board or in the ranking. And as I start to think about it, I don't think it's Mel Kiper misjudging anything. I think it's just an illustration that the best players on your team aren't draft eligible, aside from Neighbors and Mason Smith. And maybe Mekhi Wingo can jump into that conversation. Maybe some of the transfers who came in, maybe Savion Jones has a monster season, maybe Omar Speights. We'll see. That could happen, certainly. But I look at Harold Perkins, sophomore. Will Campbell, sophomore. Emory Jones, sophomore. Mason Taylor, sophomore. Next year on the big board, you're going to see that littered with LSU guys because this amazing sophomore class, they're all draft eligible next year. And it reminds me a lot of 2011. That 2011 team, y'all, that team was a year early. Mingo, Montgomery, Minter, Eric Reed, Tyron, Harold Simon, Spencer Ware, Michael Ford, Alfred Blue, Chris Falk, all those guys were sophomores. LSU in 2011 was a year ahead of schedule. 2012 was supposed to be the team. Mettenberger coming in at quarterback, all that great sophomore class becoming juniors. 2012 was supposed to be the year. They were just a year early. Kind of feels like this team, where you got the veteran quarterback in Jayden Daniels. You got a lot of veteran players on the field, but you are led. Your stud players are underclassmen. That's kind of what it feels like here. Be nice to have a redo of 2011 sans the end, as we all know. All right, Mel Kiper's Big Board. It's out if you want to check it out. It's there at ESPN.com. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. Hump Day shows, as always, are brought to you by Pluckers. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We do want to. I'll get back to some Saints conversations as well as we continue to find out more of the guys that are signed to the practice squad. Of course, you can sign 16 players to the practice squad. We know about a dozen or so of those names right now. We'll run through them again if you haven't heard. When we come back, though, Brian Kelly was on the SEC coaches teleconference this morning, talked about Jayden Daniels' comfort level in year 2, and also Jayden Daniels met with reporters last night and was asked a lot of those same questions. So we'll let you hear from the coach and the quarterback as we continue next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. The rain over the past 3-4 days has given us a bit of a cool-off, but man, the real great thing, though, or even with the cool-off, it's still 95 degrees. It's 95 degrees right now at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So if your AC is giving you trouble, call River City's 1 Hour. You see the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side all over town. And it's because they provide service like they did for David Bradford, who sent this 5-star Google review. I can't say enough about John Leo. He is courteous, compassionate, understanding. I think most important, in my opinion, he is honest, all caps. He kept me informed. He fixed our problem quickly during a very hot day. I will request John when I need service. Another 5-star Google review for River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water, they can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines, or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2640.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Justin D sent a text. So what's the name of the opening song to your show? Well, there are two songs in the show open. There's Spoon Man by Soundgarden, and then we fade down Spoon Man and play the After Further Review theme. That's what I say every day, Mr. Toby Tomplay. Toby is a local creative, is a good friend of mine. He's a really talented musician, does original music, plays gigs all over, does covers, and he is a guy that is a super creative dude that's created every earworm jingle that you've heard. The Hudco jingle, that's Toby. So that's it, and he just made an AFR theme. So it's Spoon Man by Soundgarden, then the AFR theme, if you're interested. Then Steven, this was interesting. In the last segment, I was talking about the sort of the similarities with 2011, how 2011 was a very they were a young team. The star players on the 2011 team were all sophomores, and they were a year early, except they had a veteran quarterback. Steven DeSure said, the biggest mistake Les made in 2011 was not starting Mettenberger that year, so he'd be more experienced in 2012. Met with a year of experience in 2012 would have made a difference. So I just fundamentally disagree with that completely. Mettenberger really struggled in 2012, and that was after having been on campus and practicing with this team for an entire year. It wasn't until November of 12 after Bama that Met started to kind of hit his stride, and then had a great 2013. What you needed in 2011 was exactly what Jarrett Lee for the bulk of that season gave you, was a steady hand. He was the most efficient quarterback in college football, and you had a devastating defense, a offensive line that was literally too deep at every position. You had 10 guys that had you had 9 offensive linemen that had started, and then your 10th guy was a 5-star freshman in Lyle Collins, and you had a stable of backs with Michael Ford and Spencer Ware and Kenny Hilliard, who emerged late, and Alfred Blue and Terrence McGee. No, that team, there's a reason that was the best team we had seen in LSU history until the last game, where you just had a terrible game plan going into the biggest game of the season. You didn't adjust, they did, and you lost. And it sucks. It's something that will forever be a black cloud over the program. That's why we all know the date, January the 9th. But no, they should not have played Zach Mettenberger in 2011. 2011 was incredible, exactly as it was, until the very end when Bama got a redo that they didn't deserve. If LSU plays Oklahoma State in that game and blows them out, we're talking about that as one of the greatest teams in college football history. So with the benefit of hindsight, no, you don't get to go rewrite history. All right, it's After Further Review. You can always text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers. It is going to be LSU and Florida State Saturday down in Orlando. Certainly all of our thoughts and our concerns are with the people in the state of Florida. We learned, by the way, the hurricane Idalia, as many have confirmed. Idalia, it is a Spanish name. So not Idalia, it is Idalia. So which made landfall early this morning there on the Gulf Coast of Florida, and was a very strong storm as it moved through. We've all been through storms. You live down here, it's part of it. So our thoughts and our concerns and our prayers are with the people in the state of Florida. Specifically as it relates to this football game, it does not appear as though Orlando is going to be largely affected by the storm. They're going to have water and amounts of wind from outer bands and everything like that, but it shouldn't in any way affect the ability to play this game in Orlando on Sunday, which is a good thing. Normalcy is a good thing, and it looks like they are going to be able to play this game, which is great. Brian Kelly was on the SEC coaches teleconference and talked about this opportunity to open up the season for the second consecutive year against Florida State.
The game is an exciting one. You got two nationally ranked football teams, and as you know, we played to a close 1-point game last year, decided by a blocked extra point. So we know what's in store for us. It's an outstanding football team. Mike Norvell's done a great job in building this program back to elite status. From our standpoint, it's really just focusing on our process and what we do in terms of our preparation, and then go play a game that a lot of people want to see on Sunday.
I think the other thing Brian Kelly said, every year when we go into a season, you've heard me say this, is when I try to gauge a team and what my projection might be for a team, I'll always say who has the fewest questions against the most manageable schedule. And LSU doesn't have a lot of questions. And that's why I like this team an awful lot. It's why I'm picking them to win the national championship. I think they're going to win the SEC. I think they have the best quarterback in the SEC. I think I like this LSU team a lot. Sometimes you have to just go on a limb and make the pick. So I'm willing to put it out there and say it. But it's because they have fewer questions. And Brian Kelly said he didn't predict them to win the national championship, but he did say exactly that. They have so few questions, especially compared to what they were a season ago.
There were just so many more question marks. Now, they answered some of those question marks in the way they played, and, they had a personality of their own. They were a competitive group, and they fought hard, and they overcame a lot of the sloppiness, and we did that against Florida State. As you know, we put the ball on the ground a couple of times in special teams and, had some bad snaps, and they overcame it. That was their demeanor last year. That was their DNA, I guess I would say. So they answered a lot of those question marks. I think we go into this season with less question marks, but we still have to develop an identity of this team, and that's why, you got to go out and play before you really get a sense of what your football team's about.
That is true, and that is true of literally every team every year. You may think you know what a team's identity is going to be, but that is something that is a constant evolution as the season goes along. But again, it's the few question marks. You know who your quarterback is. You know all of your starters on the offensive line. You know you've got a great tight end and what your rotation is going to look like. Yeah, I mean, you know Josh Williams is your most veteran, experienced back, and you've got a lot of trustworthy and capable guys behind him. You've got a bunch of freak show receivers. You know that about your team. You've got a good rotation at defensive tackle. You know who your jack and your big edge are going to be. You know who your two starting backers are going to be. You know who your safeties are going to be. You know you trust at least one of your corners in Zy Alexander. You know who your place kicker is, who your punter is, who your long snapper is, who your returners are. Like, you know those things. These aren't things that are going to evolve throughout the season unless if you have an unfortunate injury or something like that happens unforeseen. But you don't have questions. It's just go do it. Go do it now. Of course, a giant part of that is Jayden Daniels. And it's probably the question that most people want to know is Jayden Daniels' development. And the thing that I'll say often about Jayden in his defense, and I know a lot of you do, for whatever reason, it's weird that LSU fans don't like me defending Jayden Daniels, which is an odd thing. And I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but of course there's room for improvement. But it's worth noting the kid threw for 2,900 yards last year and ran for 900. He was explosive and dynamic and awesome, and without him, your season probably resembled more what a lot of prognosticators were saying going into the year, which would have been a maybe 6 or 7 win season. Instead, you went 9-3, you won your bowl game, you get to 10, you win the SEC West, you beat Bama. That's because you had him. Now, he needs to take that next step to be able to be a national championship team. Can he? Here was Brian Kelly on a signal caller.
In terms of his preparation, both on and off the field, I think it's exactly where we wanted it to be. We've seen his growth off the field in terms of his, work in the community, his ability to lead. He's been named captain. He's developed in a manner that when you see his work in practice, you see a more complete quarterback. He's stronger physically. He's put on the right weight. Now it's about flipping that switch and going from all this preparation to performance. And my experience tells me if you've prepared the right way in all of those facets, the performance kind of takes care of itself. So now it's just a matter of, waiting for that opportunity and then taking advantage of it.
Get that opportunity on Saturday. For what it's worth, when Jayden Daniels met with reporters on Tuesday night, he was kind of asked to compare what he feels like now as opposed to this time a year ago. And if you're looking for Jayden Daniels' improvement exponentially, whatever, this should serve you very well.
My mind was kind of racing everywhere, trying to figure out the plays, the game plan, and also trying to build that camaraderie with the guys. Now I'm more at ease with everything as far as, the playbook, my teammates and everybody. So I feel 20 times better than I did last year. 20 times better than he did last year. A year where he threw for 2,900 yards, which was the 5th highest passing total in the history of the program. A year where he ran for just under 900 yards, which led the team. He says he feels 20 times better than he did. You want to know why Jayden Daniels has the 2nd best Heisman Trophy odds in America? That's why. For all of the conversation we have about he doesn't push the ball downfield, he's too conservative, he won't take chances, blah, blah, that's what you needed a year ago. Because if Jayden Daniels was careless with the football a year ago, when your margin was very small, he could have had a season that looked like 2008 Jared Lee. You turn the ball over a bunch and you're a 7-5 football team. That was a very realistic possibility. But he was exactly what you needed. Now, you go throw for 3,000 yards and run for 1,000 yards, or throw for 3,500 yards and run for 500 yards. You put up 4,000 yards of total offense and 35, 40 touchdowns, and your team is sitting there in the playoff. Yeah, that dude's going to be sitting in New York at the Heisman presentation. He might just win it. I'm not going to go that far because I don't know that I don't believe Jayden is going to need to rush for 1,000 yards this year. And to throw for over 4,000 is a massive ask. But that's what it takes to win the Heisman. Not to be in New York, but to win it. You have to throw for 4,000 yards, or if you don't throw for 4,000 yards, you have to throw for 3,000 yards and run for 1,000. That's what Lamar Jackson did. That's what Johnny Manziel did. That's what Cam Newton did. That's what Jayden would have to do. And I don't know that he's going to run for 1,000 yards this year just because I don't think they're going to need him to. But he should be pushing 4,000 passing. And if he is, and LSU is as good as I think they will be, he should have a seat in New York for the Heisman presentation. That march will begin on Saturday in Orlando against pretty good Florida State secondary. But Florida State's going to have its hands full trying to match those LSU receivers. All right, it's after further review. Hump Day shows brought to you by Pluckers. Trivia tonight and every Wednesday, both locations, 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. You're looking for something to do tonight. Trivia is always a great fun time. So get on out, play some trivia, win some Pluckers gift cards. It's every single hump day at Pluckers at either location. Pluckers, you know, like our wings, will give you the bird. All right, we'll do some overrated, underrated. We'll come back. Muse will have Tigers and the pros in 25 minutes. If you got to go, come back. Our start of hour number 3. We all know
LSU's biggest weakness going into this season is their secondary. It's in particular the cornerback position. We all know it. Everyone, that should be the answer for everyone. But I spent a lot of time today digging deep into that as a potential weakness and why it might not be as big a deal as we're making it out to be. I'll explain what I mean. That's coming up in hour number 3. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Tell you every day, get by the website, Rouse's, download the Rouse's app. Rouse's being local is one of the most important, impressive things about that business. They have been open since they were City Produce down in Houma 100 years ago. And since then, in the last 60 years, when they've gotten into the supermarket, the retail grocery market, they've just continued to expand with a focus on local. From Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, you got more than 60 Rouse's locations, and they always start every conversation when it comes to carrying products. Can we get it locally? Can we support local Louisiana farmers? Can we buy Louisiana produce? Can we buy Louisiana seafood? Local, local, local. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCoRoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Congratulations to Tori Brown. Tori won $500 cash from the Back to School Bucks giveaway. Thank you to everyone who participated in the Back to School Bucks giveaway presented by Citizens Bank and Trust.
We'll do Tigers and the Pros in about 10 minutes from right now. Florida and Utah tomorrow from Salt Lake City. Cam Rising not expected to play in that game. What a certainly that's newsworthy, noteworthy. Cam Rising is the senior quarterback, a super senior quarterback there at Utah. Tore his ACL in the Rose Bowl a year ago. As you might remember, he's 18-6 as a starter. It's the 5th most wins by any quarterback in Utah history. He's thrown for more than 5,500 yards, 46 touchdowns. He's one of the career active leaders among quarterbacks in college football. So junior Bryson Barnes is expected to start Thursday night against the Gators. They've got a redshirt freshman, Nate Johnson, also expected to see snaps. So that throws a really big wrench into that situation. Now, as I believe it was, I want to make sure I give proper attribution because somebody, I think it was Greg earlier today. It was. Greg Lehman texted me earlier and said Mike Detillier would be all over that Florida line if their center doesn't start. So one of Mike Detillier's noted gambling angles for many, many years. It's a great old Buddy Diliberto angle where a team whose starting center doesn't play, that team fails to cover some 80% of the times the week that center doesn't start. So now I don't know if it applies for a season opener, but for example, if a center's injured or maybe in practice that week or is questionable and then doesn't play, that team who loses their starting center fails to cover some 80% of the time. So even without Cam Rising at Utah, if Florida's starting center, who is listed as questionable for the game with an ankle injury, and by the way, is the only returning starter on the offensive line for Florida. If he doesn't play, that creates a really, obviously a very difficult situation for Graham Mertz, the new starting quarterback there at Florida. But it's added a lot of drama with Cam Rising reportedly not being available for that game. The line's moved a full 2 points from 6.5 to 4.5 in favor of Utah, 4.5-point home favorite. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us here. Muso, let's do a little overrated, underrated.
Overrated or underrated?
I personally think he's criminally underrated.
All right, Matt.
All right.
Overrated or underrated, the 7th inning stretch?
I think the 7th inning stretch is horrendously overrated. It's completely unnecessary. I'm sure there is some history involved there whereby it might have been relevant in a long-forgotten time. But if you're tired or need to stretch at any damn point in the game, stand up and stretch. And take me out to the ball game sucks. Overrated.
Overrated or underrated, pedal pubs.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a fuddy-duddy type thing, and I get it. But I'm going to say overrated on pedal pubs because when I'm relaxing and enjoying an adult beverage, I don't have to do work. I don't have to pedal to move. Now, I'm sure there are many of you that are going to say, yeah, but you don't have to work that hard. Don't care. It's not about the degree or severity of the work I have to do. I just want to sit and enjoy my frosty beverage. That's it. And in particular, I don't want to be doing something that's going to increase my body temperature, thus potentially causing me to sweat. So no, I'm not at all interested in a pedal pub. I think the concept is stupid. A pedal pub is overrated. And whoever came up with that idea, you should be fired.
Overrated or underrated?
Fired.
Lemonade.
You should be fired from your own business that you created, pedal pub guy. They should fire you from your business.
And every other business that has spawned off of that.
I was going to say thrown in jail or something like that, but you're not going to put someone in jail because they created a pedal pub. It's just a terrible idea. It looks cool. Like, it looks like it should be cool, but in concept, but when you actually go do it, it's stupid. It's a terrible idea. All right, what now?
Lemonade. Overrated or underrated?
It depends how tart it is. I hate to be a fence sitter here. I think there's plenty of people that enjoy lemonade, and a cold glass of lemonade on a hot summer day can be just delightful. But if it's too tart, man, I have some type of reaction to lemonade or to tart, things that are too tart, and my head and face just burst out in sweats. It's a weird phenomenon.
That's interesting.
It's a weird phenomenon. But I can tell a margarita, lemonade, candy, like if there's a level of tartness where my body has a physiological response. So there's some lemonade that I like a lot, but there's some where I take a sip and it just boom, immediately. My head's like I just jumped in a swimming pool. Like big, large beads of sweat all over my head. So I don't know that I can fairly give you an answer on lemonade. I think conceptually, cold glass of lemonade, the lemonade stands that kids can sell. It's easy to make. It's sugar, lemon, water. I mean, I get it. But boy, there's a nasty side to lemonade, and I've experienced it.
Well, you might have taken the versatility route there with lemonade, like because of strawberry lemonade, raspberry lemonade, like all the different kinds.
No, you didn't ask me about strawberry lemonade or raspberry lemonade.
Well, I know, but normally sometimes you're like, well, it's versatile. It stays staying power, things like that. I think usually you might have gone that way.
Usually the versatility answer applies to musicians and actors and creatives of that sort when you don't get pigeonholed into your one little box. Lemonade, I think lemonade and then like raspberry lemonade or so, they're very different products. I wouldn't consider those one and the same.
Last one.
That's a good question. I wonder if people would consider. I think a raspberry lemonade is a completely different product than a lemonade. I mean, lemonade is lemon. It's lemon flavored. Raspberry lemonade is not lemon flavored.
Well, there should be some lemon in it, and then you add the raspberry. That's how you get the combination, though, right?
It's a dramatically different experience. I would challenge anybody on that. I don't think a strawberry lemonade or a raspberry lemonade is the same as lemonade. It's a dramatically different experience than the tartness of lemonade.
Okay. All right. I'm just looking at it like it's still the same base is what I was looking at there.
No, I mean,
you have to start with lemonade, right, to get raspberry lemonade. Otherwise, it's just a raspberry drink.
Do you?
Yeah, because that's how it's lemonade.
Yeah, but I don't think it is. I don't think that whenever you have raspberry, it's not like. See, I think what you're considering here is, right? If I let's say I made lemonade, and then I took like fresh strawberries and put them into the jug, right?
That would be banging, but yeah.
But that's not strawberry lemonade. Strawberry lemonade is, as we would understand it, a mix or a prepackaged product whereby you just pour this mix into water with ice and stir it, and now you have strawberry lemonade. There's a big difference between, I think, making lemonade, like fresh lemonade, and then adding strawberries in later to give you that little hint. Like when you go to a place that might have lemons in water, right? This is a better way of explaining it. Some, like people have a water jug at a hotel.
Right
by the concierge. And then they put lemons or oranges in it, right? Well, that's not lemonade. When I put lemon, if I go to a restaurant and order water, do you want lemon? Sure, I get a lemon. I put the lemon in the water. This isn't lemonade.
Well, no, it's water with lemon.
Correct. Exactly.
You would need sugar.
Exactly.
Though.
So whenever you give me lemonade, if I just add strawberries, well, that's not strawberry lemonade. That's lemonade with a strawberry in it.
What if it's just strawberry flavoring, not the whole packet thing? I don't know. To me, it wouldn't even be lemonade. It would just be strawberry stuff. So we need to stop calling it strawberry lemonade.
Hey, you're the one who asked the question.
That's overrated or underrated.
It's after further review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. I tell you what, I see clearly on that lemonade, strawberry lemonade thing right there. I see very clearly. Thanks to the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020. 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Go for that free consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson. You will be so glad you did. If you have ever considered LASIK, do it. Don't wait. Make the jump. Paulie did it 2 weeks ago. He's on his way to seeing better than 2020. It's life-changing. Throw away your contacts. Throw away your glasses. Throw away the solution. Throw away those travel contact kits forever. Quit worrying about shoving contacts in your eyes when you wake up and taking them out before you go to bed and then worrying because you slept in them and now they're caked to your eyeball. Never worry about that again. Just wake up in the morning, go about your day, and see. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, it is after further review. We are late because we got into a long conversation about lemonade and strawberry lemonade. This is the hard-hitting content you come to AFR for during football season. The difference between water with lemons and lemonade. All right, I just keep talking, and I keep making us even more late. We'll do Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. You want to grow some lemons for that lemonade or that lemon-flavored water? Go get you a lemon tree at Clegg's. Oh, yes, you can do that. Go to Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations. You want trees, citrus trees, they got you. Fruit trees, they got you. Plant it, let it grow, watch it grow. Be a great centerpiece for your family, your family home for years and generations to come. And Clegg's Nursery can help you do it. Hey, we are moving into fall. Not growing lemons during fall, but if you want that fall vegetable garden, Clegg's has Johnny Naylor seeds, so get by any of the Clegg's Nursery locations. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local and shop local. Clegg's has been a part of our community for 60 years. So bypass the big box store. Bypass the big box store and turn in to Clegg's Nursery, supporting our local community for more than 60 years. Buy local, shop local. Tell you every single day. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Step inside an Infiniti QX50, and you'll find a suite of driver-focused features tailored to your tastes.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Joe Burrow returned to practice today for the Cincinnati Bengals. Great news for Bengals fans and anybody who loves Joe Burrow. Of course, missed 5 weeks training camp, strained that calf pretty early, first week of camp, but now back and on track to start the season opener. Alex Bregman put on quite the show last night in Fenway Park. 3 for 5. Started the scoring in the first with a solo home run. That one over the Green Monster. Would add insurance runs later on a single. 2 RBI, 2 runs scored for Bregman. Again, part of the 3-hit night. And for what it's worth, right now, Bregman 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored currently in Fenway Park as the Astros lead that one 7-0.
You knew Otter was going to get you.
I did know Otter was going to get me. Jordan Thompson, pretty nice night in single A ball. A couple singles, 2 for 5. Came around to score a run. 244 so far to start his pro career for Jordan Thompson. Todd Peterson, save number 6 last night for the Wilmington Blue Rocks. 1 shutout inning, 1 strikeout, no hits for Todd Peterson.
Todd Peterson.
And Jake Slaughter.
The Florida center?
No, not the Florida center. The former LSU first baseman and third baseman.
He just looks like the Florida center.
No, he does not look like the Florida center. He is not that big. He is just filled out. It happens when you grow up and you're a professional athlete and those things.
Look at him.
Yeah. Well, look, when you fill out like that, you can hit Oppo Taco shots like he did last night.
Like the Florida center.
Home run number 22, 3-run shot for Slaughter. Leads the Iowa Cubs with those 22 bombs. That's Tigers in the pros.
He's got some junk in the trunk. Yeah, that's my Twitter page. He's got some junk in that trunk.
Leave Jake Slaughter alone. He's living his life.
It's a mere observation. Lee Michaels, Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com. Hour 3 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Man, if you're dealing with mold or think you might be, call Mold Zero. You know, there's options, and I think a lot of people might just Google what to do if I have mold, or maybe call other remediation companies. I mean, I won't name names, but I was at a restaurant not long ago, sitting in their dining room, and they kind of have an indoor-outdoor flow, and as a result of indoor-outdoor flow, where you have humidity and then condensation on your air vent, there was mold on the ceiling. It's part of living in Louisiana. It's humid here. And when you mix humidity and moisture, that's a breeding ground for mold. So be it a restaurant, be it your home, office building, a church, whatever it may be. If you have mold, you might have mold, call Mold Zero. It's an easier, more cost-effective way, less invasive way to get rid of mold and other harmful pathogens like bacteria causing odor and a lot of other things. So Mold Zero. Go to the website, get the phone number, or go to mold-0usa.com. Mold-0usa.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A reserve West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's deputy who shot into the back of a fleeing car is facing charges tonight. A warrant issued for his arrest following a WBRZ report. The WBRZ investigative unit showed you the alarming video this month that shows that deputy opening fire on a car they stopped while patrolling the interstate. That deputy facing 2 felony charges. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Scooncha fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. After sitting out for almost 5 weeks with a right calf strain, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow got back on the practice field today. No word yet, though, if he'll be ready to play in the opener a week from Sunday against the Browns. How is Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott really feeling about the team adding Trey Lance? ESPN's Dan Orlovsky says it would be understandable for Prescott to be annoyed.
When does enough become enough for a guy? You 3 years ago, you made me drag my feet through the contract extensions. When I feel I outperformed it, I was a fourth-round pick, and the tag. And so at some point, there's that reminder that I was a little bit disrespected during that process. And now this is another one.
Dan Orlovsky on Get Up. Baseball finals today. The Blue Jays shut out the Nationals 7-0. Alejandro Kirk drives in 3. Chris Bassett goes 8 scoreless, allowing 3 hits for his 13th win. The Cubs beat the Brewers 3-2. Cody Bellinger drives in the game-winning run on an infield hit in the 8th. Team USA finishes pool play 3-0 after a rout of Jordan today at the FIBA World Cup.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tumpley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yep.
It's hump day.
LSU, Florida State.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
On Sunday.
Hump day.
A bajillion of you have all messaged me during the break.
It's hump day.
Pointing out that I was saying the game is on Saturday.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Yes, obviously the game is on Sunday.
Hump day.
And yes, I was clearly misspeaking because largely college football is played on Saturday.
It's hump day.
So my apologies.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You didn't miss anything.
Hump day.
The game is on Sunday.
It's hump day.
And clearly neither Musso or Paulie are paying attention because they didn't bother.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Did either of you even catch that I was doing that?
Didn't hear you say it once.
Paulie?
Never heard it.
Yeah. Clearly I did it because Pat emailed me.
Hump day.
Billy.
It's hump day.
Andrew.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Cody.
Hump day.
All of you.
It's hump day.
The game is on Sunday.
Mike.
Sunday.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Standalone, primetime, ABC, Fowler, Herbie, Holly Rowe. Sunday, Orlando. The thing we've been talking about for a year now.
Hump day.
Sunday. They didn't change it.
It's hump day.
Sunday.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's get going. LSU will play Florida State in football on Sunday in Orlando. I mean, did all of you feel the need to message me because you thought the game had been changed? I mean, yeah, I screwed up. Said Saturday. Said it a bunch. Saturday. No, it's not Saturday. It's Sunday. Okay. Anyway, but thank you. Thank you for the catch. Thank you. There's a piece up at ESPN.com, and no, I'm sorry. It's not ESPN. Forgive me. Yahoo Sports did a feature where they looked at the national title contenders and what each of the national titles contenders' biggest weakness is. Like, what's the thing that could prevent them, the biggest question mark they have from winning a championship? And some of them are really obvious, and some of them are just going to be harder to identify than others. Like Georgia, for example. The answer at Georgia right now is that they don't have a lot of experienced depth. They're a very talented team, obviously. Kirby's recruited great there, but what they lack that they've had in the past is experience depth. Places like Alabama, it's pretty obvious as well. Who's your quarterback? Do you have any receivers? I mean, there's some obvious ones there. With LSU, they list two. And look, the Tigers' championship odds are plus 1,200. They're right there in the top 10 in the country among title odds, right outside those first five that everybody sort of highlights the most. And the two things they point out is that the running back room remains unsettled. But I think we all understand with 8 scholarship backs competing for carries and a lot of experience and veteran guys and young talent and make you miss backs and power backs, like they're going to make it work in the running back room. The answer is obviously, as they write, the main concern is the secondary, particularly at cornerback. They write, it's a transfer-heavy unit with Zy Alexander from Southeastern, Deuce Chestnut from Syracuse. They mentioned Denver Harris, but it looks like Alexander and Chestnut will start on the outside. They mentioned Sage Ryan having a bigger role. They mentioned J.K. Johnson's injury. So it looks good at safety. You got Major Burns and Greg Brooks back. Andre Sam coming in as a transfer. They got bodies there. It should be good. But corner's really what's holding them back, or could potentially hold LSU back. And so there is no doubt at all that LSU's number one concern is cornerback. It's the secondary. I think Zy Alexander is going to be a really good player. He's a former FCS All-American. He's 6'3". He's the prototype of what the current modern cornerback looks like. The long, athletic dude that can flip their hips and that can defend really big receivers. So there's always the possibility that the step up in competition doesn't go well for him. But you talk to staff members, and they'll all tell you they really like Zy Alexander. They think he's their best guy. Okay. I thought Deuce Chestnut had a really good camp. The parts we got to see, he played well. They're not as convinced on Deuce Chestnut, which is why you're seeing Sage Ryan work on the outside right now. So that's a real question at corner. In fairness, it was a real question a year ago as well. The first game, you had Mekhi Garner and Colby Richardson as your starting corners. Richardson was a McNeese transfer, and Brian Kelly was high on him coming out of camp, and it didn't really work out. He did not make the transition. I mean, I would look at Colby Richardson. Remember Darren Evans, who came in from Nichols? The last couple times you brought in FCS cornerbacks, it hadn't gone great. So if you want to put a little asterisk next to Zy Alexander and say, I'm going to wait and see, that's fair. But it's also fair to say, look, Zy Alexander was a guy coming out of high school that wasn't ready to play Power 5 football. He went to the FCS. He's been there now for 5 years or 4 years. And as a 22-year-old, he's just more physically developed than he was when he was coming out of high school. He's played a ton of ball, and he's ready to play at this level. Cool. It happens. Remember the guy who was shaving in the 7th grade and nobody could tackle him at practice? And then he got to high school and everybody caught up and that guy wasn't as good anymore? Happens. The reverse happens as well. The guy who just isn't very big then hits the growth spurt and physically comes into his prime at 19, 20, 21 and then looks like Zy Alexander does. That happens. So, yeah, maybe Zy Alexander's great. Maybe Deuce Chestnut plays really well. I can certainly understand the concern where Denver Harris was a former 5-star, and for everybody who came at me and said, Matt, you know they're really not playing Denver Harris because they're trying to teach him a lesson. Where are you at now? You're going into your season opener where they're moving Sage Ryan to corner because they don't feel good about that spot, and you got this 5-star. What do you think Brian Kelly's going to cut off his nose to spite his face? You think they're just sticking Denver Harris with the 3s just to teach him a lesson? When you're going to play a top 10 team at a neutral site venue where your fans are going to be in the minority and you're going against a 6th-year quarterback and a couple of first-round draft pick wide receivers and you're just not going to play your best corner to teach him a lesson? Come on. I've been telling y'all this for weeks. Denver Harris has struggled. He has struggled. I don't care that he was a 5-star coming. You know who else was a 5-star? Cardell Thomas. How did his career go? Not a knock on the kid, but sometimes dudes need to grow up. Like when they get on the field, it doesn't translate. Hopefully it does for Denver Harris. I'm not telling you kid's got no potential. Athletically, he's super gifted. He's just not ready to play at this level. But here's the good news. With all that bad news, here's the great news. Cornerback is your number one concern. And I don't think it matters. Not as much as you think it might, anyway. With all of the issues LSU had at cornerback a year ago, they still finished 32nd in the country in pass defense, allowed 206 yards per game. And 32nd in the country is not elite. There's 131 teams last year. There's 133 this year. So, I mean, you're in the top quarter of the country, which is good. I mean, you're not top 10. I mean, it ain't Derek Stingley, Christian Fulton out there. More on that in a second, by the way. But my point and why I think that may not be as big of a deal toward the national championship is this. Last year, Georgia won the national championship. You remember that? Old Stetson Bennett, the mailman, all that good stuff. All them Georgia players that went in the first round, all that gobbledygook. You know where Georgia's pass defense was ranked last year? I want to remind you, LSU was 32nd in the country. The LSU Tigers with Mekhi Gardner and Jark Bernard-Converse and Cody Dickerson and all that sort of stuff. You know where they were ranked last year? LSU was 32nd. You know where Georgia, the national championship's pass defense, was ranked last year? 54th. 219 yards a game. LSU, with a guy who the head coach couldn't even remember his name, they were 22 spots ahead of the eventual national champion in pass defense. 2 years ago, Georgia finished 12th in the country in pass defense. They won the national championship. Remember that 2020 Bama team? They were pretty good, weren't they? Remember that team that they tried to say was as good as 2019 LSU? 2020 Bama. You want to take a guess where 2020 Bama finished nationally in pass defense? 71st. 239 yards a game. Remember that great LSU team in 2019, the best college football team we've ever seen? Remember them? They were really good. Remember their cornerbacks were Derek Stingley, who would go number 3 overall. Christian Fulton, a former 5-star. Those are the starting cornerbacks on that team. Remember them? They were really good. That defense was 59th in the country in pass defense. 222 yards a game. LSU last year with Mekhi Gardner, Jark Bernard-Converse, Cody Colby. I now can't remember his name for real. They were 32nd. LSU's defense last year, the hodgepodge, was 32nd in pass D. The 2019 LSU defense was 59th. You want to keep going? Clemson in 2018 was 24th in the country. Bama in 2017 was 6th in pass defense. Clemson in 2016 was 14th. 2015 Bama was 30th. 2014 Ohio State was 28th in pass defense. There are only 2 defenses in the college football playoff era whose pass defenses were in the top 12 in the country. 2021 Georgia, 2017 Bama. I mean, y'all, you ain't got to be elite. You ain't got to be top 10 in the country in pass defense. Everybody can throw the ball now. Offenses are good. The game is built around scoring and offense and completing the forward pass. You know that's great for? LSU. With a fifth-year senior at quarterback and a bunch of gazelles playing receiver. Good luck locking down Malik Neighbors and Kyron Lacey and Brian Thomas. Oh, here comes Mason Taylor as well. And while you're at it, here comes some other freak show running back out the backfield to catch passes on a wheel route. Everybody's worried about LSU's cornerbacks. I get it. They're not great there. But they were great at cornerback in 2019, and that team finished 59th in the country in pass defense. Let Harold Perkins go be a freak show, wreck some people, make a few game-changing plays. You get a strip sack, you hit the quarterback, the ball flutters, you get an interception, flip the field, and go score 40 a game, which this offense is capable of doing with a great offensive line, a ton of running backs, a loaded receiving core, and a guy that started every game the last 4 years and is going to his fifth year as a starting quarterback who, oh, by the way, is a dynamic runner as well. Stop worrying so much about who's going to play cornerback for LSU. Are they going to give up yards? Yes. Are they going to give up passing touchdowns? Absolutely. Is Jordan Travis and Johnny Patrick and Keon Coleman going to make plays against LSU in the passing game Sunday? Yes. Is LSU going to turn around and score 35, 40 points on Florida State? You're damn right they are. Because LSU's offense is really good, and that's what you have to do to win games in the modern age of college football. I just read off numbers of the national champions in the playoff era. Georgia, 54th. Bama in 2020, 71st. LSU, 59th in pass defense. You ain't got to be great. You got to be good enough to supplement an elite offense. And I think LSU's got that this year. All right, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. That's Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Of course, go to the website. Tell you that every single day, Hudco Roofing. You can fill out the contact form on the homepage. It's the easiest way to get us. As soon as you fill out that form, you are immediately populated into our software. Someone will be in touch with you instantly to get you scheduled for that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. If you have roof damage or think you might, Hudco Roofing. Commercial building owners, commercial property owners, I want to remind you about that silicone product that Hudco offers. It's a silicone coating product. This is an alternative to a roof replacement. It's roughly half the cost of a full roof replacement and comes with a 20-year warranty. Probably sell that building 20 years by the time you got to replace the roof. Learn more. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. No matter where you are in the state of Louisiana, Hudco can help. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. All right, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break, catch up on all the Saints' latest with the additions to the practice squad today. That's next on AFR.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
a taco more than just a taco when it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, the Otter sent an early pick if you want it. Not a great night for the Otter. He was 1-4 last night on his 5 plays. Well, the two of me acknowledged were just sort of like swing for the fences, long shots, make your small play. So did that. But if you want the Otters to early play here, he gave you the Rangers on the money line. That is a 5:40 Central Time first pitch, or 18 minutes away from first pitch. So Rangers on the money line. Let me see here for you. Rangers on the money line. They're minus 162 with Dane Dunning against Denny Reyes for the Mets. So Rangers minus 162 if you want to play ball with the Otters. So we'll get Otter locks here in about 20 to a little more than 20 minutes from right now. This is pretty wild. I'm not sure if you saw, but Thursday Night Football on Amazon this year announced they are launching an AI-powered, artificial intelligence-powered analytics broadcast as a second option. So you can watch the main broadcast. So, like, everybody is doing second screen now, right? So if you have Monday Night Football, for example, you have the main broadcast, and then you have the Manning cast. Right? So those companion shows, as we call them, are becoming very, very common, very popular, Well, Amazon has basically, they're using AI to create a second broadcast. This is wild. I could sit here and explain it to you, but this guy on Instagram, Kane Calloway, did a really good job with this video. Essentially, the analytics team at Amazon has been working on about 20 features that add advanced stats and AI-powered analytics into the viewing experience. He explains it really well. Just give a listen here.
Will be full of AI features that let you watch the game in a completely new way. The first new feature, I'm calling the fourth down line. We all know the yellow line. It's the yardage needed to get a first down. Well, this year, there'll be a second line on the screen that shows up on third down only. The new line shows how close a team needs to get to make it a smart choice to go for it on fourth down. And Amazon will even show you what fourth down play they should run based on where the team is on the field. The next one is called defensive alerts, and this one is crazy. Amazon trained an AI model to predict which players are going to blitz. It uses advanced analytics around body position, movement, and spacing to determine the blitzer. And on the screen, it will highlight them in red before the snap. Now, these are just 2 of the 20 features they worked on in total, all designed to give fans a deeper look into the game. It's almost like the viewer experience is shifting into a Madden-style game mode. Now, Prime Vision joins the original broadcast and popular hosted streams from Dude Perfect and Uninterrupted. So fans will have their pick based on what they like. And that's the big takeaway here. Sports watching is shifting into a customizable viewing experience. Eventually, I think fans will have a ton of control on their TV to swap out different announcers, add visual stat layers, and even watch special angles based on their fantasy football roster. But the real question is this: did Thursday Night Football just become fun again?
That's an interesting way of putting it. How about that? Like, I was thinking about this, how odd it was when we first saw the first down line, because initially, and it's become part of our experience now. We all just expect it, and when it's not there, we're kind of pissed. But when it first popped up, it was like, "What is that thing?" Well, it was confusing because it changed. You had to recalibrate what you were looking at. It's almost like, maybe the best way I could say it is like whenever you're used to watching a game from like baseball, you're used to watching the game from the center field camera. So when they show you the ump cam, it almost pisses you off because you're not used to watching the game from that vantage point, so you're not trained where to look. Then eventually you get used to it. It's like in football when they have the camera on the, what do they call it? The sky cam or whatever they call it. I mean, we're so used to watching plays from the sideline that when they show you a play from behind the quarterback, it's a different angle. It's kind of annoying because you're not used to it. But with this, I think we're going to train ourselves to watch it a certain way. How about like the fourth down line where it's going to show you probabilities and what play based on AI analytics they should run based on who's on the field? Like, that's going to be where a blitzer is, the probability of where a blitzer is coming from on a certain play. That's pretty wild. I mean, I'm not telling you that, you know, when the Saints are playing Jacksonville on Thursday Night Football, I'm going to be super invested in that game this year. So I'm going to want my original experience. But there's going to be a Thursday Night Football game. I don't have the Thursday night slate in front of me. But there's going to be a Thursday Night Football game where I'm super not interested in the game. You know, if you're going to feed me Cleveland against Arizona, or I don't know. I'm just throwing out a game. Yeah, I'll take a gander at that Amazon thing and see what that looks like. I think that's pretty cool. And there's probably a lot of innovation there that is going to shape how we look at the games moving forward. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Traction, TractionSports.com. Speaking of how you play the game moving forward, Traction. You want your son or daughter to have the absolute best opportunity to maximize their physical ability? Traction can make it happen. State-of-the-art, world-class facilities with world-class technology and world-class trainers. I mean, Mac Chuli's trained everybody from me to Ryan Terrio to Serena Williams. He's right here in Baton Rouge at Traction. Expert trainers in all different sports. So, ask about the Traction memberships. Small group training. You have unlimited small group sports-specific sessions per month with a world-class trainer at that facility on Bourbon. It's Traction. TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. All right. It's after further review. Well, one other thing real quickly. The NFL, this is according to Front Office Sports, the NFL, NBA, and the UFC are trying to get the United States Patent and Trademark Office to take a more aggressive and effective action against illegal streaming. So basically, pirate streams. So if a game is on let's say I'll give you the example I've told a couple times. I don't have the Pac-12 network, so I couldn't watch USC against San Jose State last week. I could have gone and found a pirate stream somewhere online. I didn't, but I could have. Basically, what they're arguing, the NFL, NBA, UFC are arguing that the global sports industry is losing $28 billion in potential revenue annually because of pirate streams. And I would just like to take the opportunity to say, this aggression against Cagenomics will not stand. I will not stand here and allow these behemoths like the NFL, the NBA, the UFC to try to go after good people, heroes in our culture that take these overpriced broadcasts for potentially one game that you ever want to see, and they ram it up your yin-yang with their costs. And these modern-day Robin Hoods, like Cagenomics, who go and find that stream, take the risk and put it out there for all of us to see, like when I was on a flight home from Napa, and I wanted to watch LSU baseball. What were my options? I found Cagenomics on YouTube. And you know what I did? I watched LSU get handcuffed by an Iowa lefty. Can't even remember his name. Brody Brett couldn't throw a strike. They brought in some lefty, and LSU couldn't hit it. But I don't care. You want to know why? I was watching the Tigers from 30,000 feet, thanks to a true American hero who I've just outed now. And there are probably all kind of different people in enforcement and whatnot listening to me say that. So if they're coming to get you, Cagenomics, I apologize. I take back everything I just said, but not really. You leave that man alone. Or woman, I don't know. Man, woman, men, women, plural, I don't know. I don't know who you are. But I appreciate you and your efforts for Tiger fans everywhere. I just hit a light with that ball. It's after further review. We got to get to Pluckers trivia. Let me run through. Do I have time? I'm trying to get. All right, let me grab a break. We'll come back. We'll get to Pluckers trivia, and I do also want to get to the Saints practice squad. Today was the day that NFL teams could start to place players on IR. So if you go to IR, you're out at least 4 weeks before you're eligible to return, and but that frees up a roster spot on the 53. So someone who might have been cut yesterday, or someone makes the 53. And then goes to IR, that frees up a roster spot to add somebody else. So someone who maybe was cut yesterday could be added to the 53 today. So we'll get you caught up on all that roster stuff for the Saints when we come back, and we'll do some Pluckers trivia. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel and the Watermark Hotel, two great hotel properties in Baton Rouge. Of course, the Renaissance is the home of your Fighting Tigers of LSU every single Friday before home games this year. So if they can host the Tigers, not only the team, but the support staff, but also they have all the different meeting space for the individual position group meetings, the full team meetings, their walkthroughs. The Renaissance Hotel can host your event as well. If it's a fundraiser, certainly a charity event, an awards banquet. We've been to so many events there. The Louisiana Association of Broadcasters 2 years ago had their annual LAB Prestige Awards at the Renaissance Hotel, conveniently located on Bluebonnet near I-10. Remember, they got Tallulah inside of the Renaissance as well. A great restaurant option. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Chef-curated menu from Chef Jason Hebert. Check it out. It's Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Right there on Bluebonnet. The Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Okay, the Saints have made it official. They've announced their the 16 players they've added to the practice squad. So, again, this is official from the New Orleans Saints. So the 53-man roster yesterday, they've now added their 16 players to the practice squad. I'll just read them off to you here. They are safety Jonathan Abram, wide receiver Lynn Bowden, linebacker Ryan Connolly, wide receiver Shaq Davis, offensive lineman Mark Evans, defensive lineman Jack Heflin, defensive back Anthony Johnson, wide receiver John Trey Kirkland, guard Tommy Kramer, defensive end Nico Lalos, running back Ellis Merriweather, tackle Storm Norton, linebacker Anthony Orgy, defensive end Kyle Phillips, linebacker Jalen Smith, and linebacker Ty Summers. So that's official from the New Orleans Saints. Those are your 16 Saints practice squad members. A couple of things that stand out there. Obviously, it's really cool to see John Trey Kirkland make the team. He's a local guy from Kentwood, went to LSU. A great team, guys we know. Played defensive back, played receiver, ended up playing quarterback in his final game with the Tigers. Was in training camp last year, went and played in the XFL, and got another opportunity here with New Orleans, and he's made the practice squad. So great for John Trey Kirkland right there. He's listed as a wide receiver, but we know he's a truly versatile player. Jalen Smith is the one that's going to get a lot of attention. As a lot of people thought Jalen Smith was the third best linebacker on the Saints team throughout camp of the preseason as long as he was in New Orleans, and I tend to agree. And remember, the Saints went out and signed Jalen Smith after the injury to Andrew Dowell. So they went and sought him out with that in mind, as Dowell was that next guy up. So it would stand to reason that somehow, some way, this will play out here where my assumption here is someone is going to go to IR, and certainly Traquan's a good candidate for that. And if Traquan goes to IR, then it frees up a roster spot, and maybe that's where you sign Jalen Smith, because you got to have another linebacker on your 53-man roster. Nico Lalos is a guy a lot of people asked about because he had the 3-sack game in that second preseason game. And the point I made about Nico Lalos after the game, when a lot of you asked, did he solidify a roster spot? My answer was no, was because look at your defensive end position already. You've got Cam Jordan. You've got Carl Granderson. You've got Peyton Turner. You've got Isaiah Foskey. You're not keeping a 5th defensive end, especially on a team that's got 4 tight ends and 3 quarterbacks. So there wasn't a spot for him, but thankfully he cleared waivers and the Saints were able to bring him back, and maybe the young guy out of Dartmouth might have an opportunity here. Cool to see Shaq Davis clear waivers as well. He's a receiver that you would think may well get his opportunity to play this year. If in fact Traquan goes to IR and they decide they're going to sign another receiver to the active roster, Shaq Davis would most likely be that guy. Jontre Kirkland or Lynn Bowden would also be candidates. Lynn Bowden, of course, is a great special teams option, along with being a versatile guy as a pass catcher, a rusher, all that sort of stuff. And then Ellis Merriweather is the running back that was re-signed on the practice squad. Of course, they cut Darrell Williams and Ellis Merriweather, but now signed Merriweather to the practice squad, and Darrell Williams remains a free agent. So just a couple of the notables there for the New Orleans Saints as the 16-member practice squad is now set. We're brought to you by Shawbills, Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. We're going to get to Otter locks here in less than 10 minutes. We'll get to Plucker's Trivia in just a second. But, of course, if you need to buy tires, name brand tires at wholesale prices, no one is going to sell you better tires for cheaper than Shawbills. Names and brands that you know and trust. If it's Michelin or BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Firestone, they sell the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. And as we always say, part of the Charlie's Dozen, a dozen benefits extended to you and your family when you buy tires at Shawbills, is the price match guarantee. If you buy tires at Shawbills and you find that same tire advertised cheaper in this area, they will give you 125% of the value of that tire. You just will not find cheaper tires than Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, we do it here on Wednesdays. Let's do a little trivia. Hit me with the music, Muse, if you would. Plucker's Trivia Night. Every Wednesday over at Plucker, 7:30 Bluebonnet. 8 o'clock Nicholson, 5 rounds of live action trivia. Get your team together, get on by, win some Plucker's gift cards, win some Amazon gift cards. Even if you're not smart at all like Muse, you could still win something because you get to spin the prize wheel and maybe win a prize.
Let's clarify that I'm not good at trivia, please. I mean, I'm not a genius, but...
All right, on to the questions here.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're going 0 for 3.
Okay.
Here we go. Like I said, if you're an idiot like Muse,
the way you're okay.
Often heard in the context of hockey or soccer.
Or tennis.
You want the question or not?
Oh, I thought you were... No, I'll see.
Do you want the question or not?
I mean, well, sure. Let's go for it.
Often heard in the context of hockey or soccer, the term hat trick was first used in what sport?
I'll go educated guess here and say bowling.
It is not bowling.
See where I was going with that?
No surprise at all here. No, I don't see where you're going at all.
Well, you could get like 3 strikes in a row. I know it's called a turkey now, but maybe it was called something different back then.
Cricket is the answer we were looking for.
Okay,
cricket,
interesting.
Yes, you've got no shot at this one. On Rick and Morty, in perhaps a Cheers reference, what is Rick's late wife's first name?
Carla?
No. Diane is what we're looking for there.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Good pull on Carla, though.
Yeah.
At least you had a name.
Yeah, I don't watch Rick and Morty.
You ever see when Kirstie Alley was on Cheers?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when Kirstie Alley was on SNL.
Oh.
And the Cheers cat, like she was kind of teary-eyed doing her monologue, and the whole Cheers cast they all came out and sang the theme.
That's good.
Then she hosted again like 3 years after that, and the cast of SNL basically did the same thing. And so, like, I don't know, he had Norm Macdonald playing Ted Daniels, whoever it was. And Adam Sandler came out as Carla. And, you know, she was short. So Sandler was like, he had shoes on his knees, so he's walking on his knees. So look it up. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's great. If you've never seen Cheers, then I got nothing for you. In 1875, here you go, Muse, for the hat.
1875.
For the hat trick.
Yeah.
When you get this one wrong,
this isn't
wear
the
the
good.
collar.
This is like 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts hat trick.
Yeah. This is wearing the collar here. Friend.
Yeah.
As I predicted. But let's give it a go. Who knows? Maybe, Muse, maybe you get this one. In 1875, Matthew Webb became the first person to swim across what body of water?
I'll go with the Gulf of Mexico. I don't know. I figured it had to be something massive that he just like made it. You like that?
The Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, why not? What? Why not? Who knows? Maybe the guy was superhuman. It was 1875.
Are you high? Don't answer that. They might pee test you.
There you go.
The Gulf of Mexico.
I don't know.
Give yourself the buzzer.
Oh yeah. What was it, like a river?
The Gulf of Mexico.
Matt, I don't know. It's a body of water. There's a lot of bodies of water. We're talking about the Bering Strait. That's a body of water. It's massive.
There are
the
boats.
Panama Canal.
There are boats that don't make it across the Gulf of Mexico. You think someone's going to swim across the Gulf of Mexico?
No, not really. I just had to give an answer and I didn't know.
The English Channel is the answer, by the way. But any of the things you mentioned just now would have been better answers than the
first thing that came to mind.
Mexico.
I didn't know the answer. I pulled the first thing that came to mind.
Hey,
I knew
Siri,
it wasn't right.
how wide is the Gulf of Mexico? Hey, Siri, how wide is the Gulf of Mexico? It's 810 nautical miles.
Why didn't she say that?
1,500 kilometers. I don't know. It's the 9th largest body of water in the world.
Dude, Matthew Webb's a stud.
Nobody's swimming across the Gulf of Mexico. Hey,
Matthew Webb
anybody
did it.
swim across the Atlantic Ocean?
No, it's too big.
That's the Gulf of Mexico.
See, the problem here is you took it literal when I was just throwing something out because I had no damn clue. I knew it was wrong.
Do you remember where this all started?
No.
With me saying Muse, just don't know anything like Muse.
That's true.
You can still go to Pluckers.
Yeah.
Spin that prize wheel.
See, now I get to go spin the prize.
And win,
and still win something.
Hey, Paulie.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were a Central Wildcat, did they teach you how big the Gulf of Mexico was?
They did, yes. Yes, they did.
Then why didn't you answer that whenever he asked Siri?
Yeah.
Next time, my just random guess won't be as outlandish.
The Gulf of Mexico.
Sure, why not? Could happen.
In what reality is that even a possible educated guess?
That's the point. It wasn't an educated guess.
Clearly.
I've said that 3 times. I didn't know. First thing that came to mind. Whew. Said it out loud. Yeah.
Oh my
Doesn't really
God.
matter. The whole point of this is to get you to go play trivia at Pluckers, which you should absolutely do.
Oh, man. All right. That was something. Okay. We're going to do Otter locks. I'm going to try to compose myself after that. And we'll bet on sports. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, if you need to charge up your EV to drive across the Gulf of Mexico, hopefully you have a charger from ProCharge. Don't try that. You can't drive a vehicle across the Gulf of Mexico, just like you can't swim across the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico. ProCharge EV. I would really like for someone to go to prochargeev.com and inquire about getting an EV charger for your home or your office building, just so I could use the next 30 seconds to continue to admonish Musso for guessing that someone swam across the Gulf of Mexico. Have you ever seen the Gulf of Mexico?
Well, I live in Louisiana,
It's
so
as
yes.
far as your eyes can see.
Yeah,
it's like
good
the end
stuff.
of the world. Who can swim across that? prochargeev.com. The Gulf of Mexico, Muse. Your geography teacher at Old St. Michael's. Disappointed. ProCharge.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Scooncha, fall in the air. Fall is right around the corner, which means fall fishing is, which means it's time for you to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service in a bunch of different ways. You want a custom stair job, you can have a ton of fun out there on the water. They can do that. What about a spot lock trolling motor? So you stay right where you need to in casting lines. Or sonar that's let you see the fish under the water before you cast. All of your maintenance needs as well. For 38 years, they've been at it and will continue to do so. The Sherman family of front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Step inside an Infiniti QX50, and you'll find a suite of driver-focused features.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do, let's find out. We're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing good. On my way to Rufino's. I'll see you there in a little bit.
Cool. Yeah, eat the competition dinner tonight. Always a great time over there, man. The good people over at Rufino's doing it right. They sell it out. They got spots still available?
Sold out.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
what
are we? Sorry, we got about 2 minutes, a little short. So let's get to it. I know we had the Rangers. You gave us the Rangers. We gave that out early.
Right. I mean, short schedule, getaway day. I mean, but the majority of the games in MLB were, played during the day. So all we have left to choose from are, 3 left. I do want to mention, though, we had Seattle hooked up in a parlay. Late scratch and a starting pitcher last night. And also Julio Rodriguez. He's pretty important. He did not play in the afternoon game today. So the guy who rolled over his -1.5 run line bet for almost $500,000 down on the coast, I'm sure he wasn't real thrilled with that either last night. So it's, but yeah, Julio Rodriguez, that lineup's just not nearly the same without him. So just a note moving forward, do not play Seattle until they you see that he's back, a historic pace. Tonight we got Atlanta on the road, and I know we went to Colorado last night. We're in the game, did not win. Same old, same old. Atlanta's a big favorite over Colorado. The Dodgers are a big favorite again over Atlanta. Over Arizona. But I like Freeland against this pitcher for Atlanta. Atlanta's throwing the guys basically a first-time starter, and I think they've got a little bit of a fighting chance at a big price coming back. So I think they have a chance with Kyle Freeland, the lefty, in that one. And then with the Dodgers, we're going to go with the over.
1 minute
in
remaining.
Arizona, Los Angeles. No Kershaw tonight. He was magnificent again last night. Dodgers are just crushing the baseball. Arizona should be able to hit this pitcher for the Dodgers tonight, and they will definitely score, as they always do. So I'm going over on the Dodgers, and then Colorado coming back a big price.
All right. The Otter gave us Texas already, Colorado on the money line, and over in the Arizona versus the Dodgers game. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
We are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, downtown, facing the brand new library.
the one that does not fall down. All right, Otter, we appreciate it. Have a great night.
See you, Matt.
All right, we'll see you. This is Jimmy Ott. Joins us every day for Otter Locks. Muse is going to go practice swimming across the Gulf of Mexico. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
All right, as we get on down the road, remind about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. You know, aging is part of everybody's life. You know that. We all get older. We get older. Some of us lose our hair. Some of us get a lot of wrinkles. Some of us just don't feel as good. You struggle to fall asleep. You struggle to sleep through the night. You struggle to lose weight. You struggle to build muscle. It's all part of aging. And a lot of that is your body making less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel and all those things that I just described. But there is a way to get yourself feeling like you did when you were younger. Hormone replacement therapy. It's a simple blood test. Go to the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Take a little vial of blood. You go for a consult with Dr. Todd Howell over your lab review to look at how they can safely and affordably supplement you to get you to healthy levels again. Learn more online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the